This proverb conveys the fact that there is a solution to every problem. We have to try our best to solve that problem. At times certain problems seem as if they cannot be solved easily. With a little effort, every problem can be solved. Whenever there is a happy ending to any problem, it is obvious that people concerned are happy and satisfied. So anything that ends on a good note spreads happiness all around. This is illustrated by the famous story about Androcles and lion. Once there lived a slave called Androcles who was yearning to be set free by his master since he was treating him badly. So Androcles hatched a plan and escaped into a nearby forest. After he had traveled a while, Androcles suddenly heard a roar behind him and found a lion standing close by. He was sure the lion was going to kill him. But instead the lion slowly limped towards him and held out its paw. There was a thorn stuck to its paw and there was a lot of blood oozing out. Androcles removed the thorn and the lion walked away peacefully into the forest. After a few days, Androcles was captured by his master, who was so angry that he had run away. The master decided to throw Androcles to a lion. This was a common practice in ancient Greece, where the slaves were often thrown into an arena to fight a starving lion. The next day a huge crowd had gathered to watch the fight. The king was also present. A lion that had been starved for a number of days was brought into the arena in a cage. As soon as Androcles was brought in, the guards let the lion out of the cage. Androcles was trembling in fear as the lion rushed at him with great rage. Much to the astonishment of the crowd, the lion suddenly stopped in its path, looked intently at Androcles, and then went and lay down near his feet. Androcles was delighted as he realized that it was the same lion that he had helped in the forest. He hugged the lion as the entire arena watched in stunned silence. The king was overjoyed at seeing such a brave act and permitted Androcles to be freed. When he entered the arena, Androcles thought that he was a dead man, but the turn of events ensured the opposite, his freedom. Anything that is bright and shining need not necessarily be made of gold. Certain things appear to be valuable but actually they are not. So we have to be careful and should not pay more for things before examining their actual worth. Sometimes we are deceived by appearances. This is the idea conveyed by this proverb. It cautions us from being carried away by outward appearances that divert our attention and make less important things appear more valuable. Once upon a time there were two friends, Anil and Sunil, who were traveling by train from their village to the city. They both were planning to do a lot of shopping in the city malls and were discussing about this. The first thing they wanted to buy was a wristwatch for both of them. A very well-dressed young man with impeccable manners who was traveling with them overheard their conversation and politely asked if they would be interested in buying a couple of watches that he had. The stranger said that a friend of his had brought these watches from abroad and that they were made of pure gold. He opened his bag, brought out two beautiful watches that were stunning to look at and sparkled in their gold straps. Anil liked the watches so much that he immediately agreed to buy one. Sunil, however, cautioned Anil not to take a hasty decision since they did not know for sure if the watch was made of gold. Sunil warned Anil many times not to purchase those watches and scolded his friend for coming to hasty decision which will take both of them to unwanted situations in the future. Anil brushed aside all of Sunil's objections and paid the stranger the huge sum he asked for and took the watch home. However, a couple of days later the watch stopped ticking, and when Anil took it to a watch repairer, he was told that the watch was not made of gold and that he had been cheated. Anil was shattered that he had lost his hard-earned money by getting carried away by glossy appearance of the watch. He felt ashamed of his foolish act of taking a hasty decision and not listening to his friend. Thereafter Anil became cautious of what he is doing and became a discriminatory person. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. This proverb stresses the fact that one should have a balanced life. Too much of work or study without any time for entertainment or other developmental activities will make a person dull and boring. For students, bookish knowledge or academics alone will not help them scale great heights in their career. Overall personality development is very important, and for this every person needs to enhance his/her knowledge. Students need to gain knowledge of everything that is happening around them to the best of their ability. The name Jack here is used as a general term to denote a person. Ravi was a brilliant student who always stood first in his college and won many prizes for academic excellence. He was always seen either in the class or in the library with books in his hand. Ram was his classmate. Although Ram was not as brilliant as Ravi in terms of scoring marks, he was good at extracurricular activities like quiz, basketball and dramatics. At the end of the college term, many multinational companies visited their college to recruit the best of the students for prestigious jobs in their respective companies. The entire college was very sure that Ravi would bag the most coveted job with a princely salary because of his extraordinary academic performance. But finally it was Ram who was selected for the best of jobs. Ravi was very angry and demanded an explanation. The person who conducted the interview told Ravi, "It is true that you have better scores. But bookish knowledge alone will not help you perform well in an organization where you have to interact with different people and work as a team player. Ram has better exposure to the world in terms of general knowledge. Moreover, as a sportsman, he has learned the value of sharing and team effort. He therefore has more adaptability and flexibility. We do not want someone who is just brilliant. We want someone who can learn, share and inspire others to perform. This is the reason why we selected him. There is a valuable lesson to be learned from this. Every one of us should take time off to equip ourselves with other skills apart from the work we do. Only then can we make a mark in life." This proverb stresses the fact that it is easier to prevent a problem than to spend time, money, energy to find a solution for it after it has cropped up. The effort to prevent a problem may seem very small in measure, like an ounce. But the benefit accruing from it is huge. As huge as a pound that is spent in solving a problem after it has cropped up. Here it does not necessarily mean that the benefits are measured in terms of money. It is only mentioned in the content of quantifying the benefits. We have to predict what will happen so that we can be prepared to face what is predicted. This way we can minimize the predicted losses or avoid those losses. Arun knew that his car was due for some repairs since he was very happy with its performance of late. He discovered certain grinding noises and knew they were indications of some major trouble. But Arun kept postponing the trip to the service station, citing lack of time. Mohan, the mechanic, actually worried for Arun because he knew it was only a minor job if looked into immediately. Mohan also warned Arun that it could land him up in trouble if let unattended. In spite of all these warnings, Arun did nothing to rectify those minor repairs and went on with his works. And that is exactly what happened one evening when Arun was coming back home after picking up his children from school. He was driving his car with his children inside the car playing among themselves. Arun also enjoyed the joyful tendency of his children. As he was driving along the road, an event happened suddenly. There was a snapping sound and the brakes of the car failed suddenly. The car came to a stop after crashing against a tree. The car was damaged extensively. The children were hurt and had to be taken to the doctor. Arun realized that a major calamity had been averted and that it was his good luck that something worse had not happened. If Arun had attended to the problem in the car, he could have avoided the alarming situation he faced now. It would have also saved him the tension and trouble caused by the loss of money, property, damage to the car, and health.